Buenas tardes a todos los seguidores de Mírame Siempre. Aquí estamos en la exquisita joyería Lido. Y hoy estamos con el nuevo Wonder Boy del vecindario. El nombre es Tariq Riaz. Y vamos a conocer un poquito de él.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How you
Say
doing?
hello to the people from Puerto Rico.
Hello. How's everyone? I'm loving it, by the way. My first time here and absolutely love it.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. You have a fantastic, amazing life. How did it all start?
So, my parents are from Pakistan. I lived all my life in the US, grew up in the US.
Okay.
I was born there, so early years of my life I lived there, and then for majority of my life lived in the US.
Whereabouts?
In Portland, Oregon is home.
Oh.
So the great
Beautiful
Northwest.
area.
Absolutely, absolutely. So really green and beautiful, plush. And at the moment now, I'm living in Abu Dhabi, which is complete polar opposite of what Portland, Oregon is.
That's amazing. We're meeting somebody who lives in Abu Dhabi.
Oh.
How does a computer whiz becomes a jewelry designer?
One thing for sure, it cannot be planned. It cannot be a strategically planned move. Obviously, 7 or 8 years ago, if someone would have told me that one day I will be designing jewelry or manufacturing or creating or have anything to do with jewelry, I would have thought it's just not possible. I would have never believed that, but this is the fact and this is the reality and this is what I'm doing. And now how it happened was, I have a computer engineering degree from University of Arizona. I spent my time in different technology firms, worked completely different than what I'm doing now. And this whole thing started with 8 years ago when my wife was pregnant with our first daughter, and her wedding band would not fit her. And she said, what, you expect me not to wear this for 8 months while I'm going through my pregnancy because my fingers are swollen? And I said, let me see. I don't know nothing about jewelry, but I'm gonna take a look at it and see what I can do. And this is how it started, and here I am talking to you guys in this beautiful, beautiful Puerto Rico.
Tell us how that works. I mean, everything is expandable. All the jewelry we're seeing here.
Yes.
Oh, it's amazing.
So every single thing that I create, because it came out of a necessity, came out of a need to solve a problem. At the time, I had no clue any other brand does this, if it exists or not. My whole thought process was, why a person who buys a ring, and that's her favorite ring, and she wears it, or he wears it, and over the periods of time, over life changes, gain weight or arthritis or anything else, why they have to part ways with that ring or get a resize? It should fit them all their lives. And that was the thought process behind this. It was not a business plan. It was not to anything. It was just to solve a problem that if someone has a ring, that ring should last them through all their life stages and fit them perfectly. Even when they pass it on to their children, it should fit them just the way it did to their mom or dad, and continues the journey. So that's how it started, and I have patented technology. I have 4 different types of expandability that I incorporated into my technology. Took about 3.5 years to make this, and that's what it uses now.
Would you say that it was your background that really got you to think about this idea, or was it a mix of wanting to please your wife and doing something that I know means love?
That's a great question. I've never been asked, and honestly, this is the first time I'm going to answer it this way, and this is how I just thought of it. I was a kid, and I always used to get in trouble with my dad for opening a radio to find out where's the sound coming from, how does it work. I even opened the TV one time and I could not put it back together and got in big time trouble when I was a teenager. So that curiosity of how things work, I think, was the reverse engineering. Here, in this case, it was not really working for me, and I had to think, how can I make it work? And this is how it started. So I don't know if I got myself in trouble again this time, but this is a good kind of trouble. But this is how it started. It started with my curiosity, and obviously my engineering background helped, obviously, and my ability to do research. I think with this modern technology, with every single thing that we have access to with our fingertips now, we don't have to go to libraries and check out books and then read them and figure it out. Now, technology is so readily available that if we don't know nothing about, I would not say we can become an expert, but we can become very knowledgeable in that subject within a few months, and all that is needed is how much thirsty and curious we are to learn, and that's the result here.
And you were obviously very much aware that you wanted to get to an end result.
Exactly. I went down the rabbit hole with no expectation. And after a certain time, it got dark. I don't even know. I have to go left or right and right and left, and here I am. I just kept on going, and I said, okay, now it expands. How can I make it expand where the gaps in between the pieces are absolutely identical? So that's why my expandability compared to anyone else in the market is completely different. My expandability works from the force from inside out, not from side to side. And it's a complete different way of thinking. So when you think, when your finger goes inside a ring and the force is exerted outwards in every single direction, that's when the piece, instead of going sideways, it goes backwards. And that is why the expansion is so even, that the gap always stays completely uniform. That is what I did different than anyone else.
And then you don't see gaps, which is what you will have if you did it the other way.
Exactly. Yeah. And in certain pieces that do have gaps, the gaps are always identical. Every single gap. Exactly.
I see. How long did it take you to get the first approval on your design? I mean, you said, wow, this is it.
So the first ring that I made was for my wife, and that took about 2.5 years.
Okay.
But that was the birth.
Time.
Yeah. For me, it felt like it was a weekend because I was just so consumed in it. I was completely absorbed by it. I've never enjoyed doing anything else as much as I did while I spent on that challenge, and that truly gave me the desire to keep on doing this for the rest of my life and see what other challenges I can take care of. I have 17 design awards in last 2 years, including the Cindy Edelston's Designer of the Year award last year for North America. And different pieces have different awards. My most recent award that I got from Jewelers of America is for my newest collection, which is called The Circle of Life. And this collection got the award for the new upcoming trend for under $5,000 diamond category. And this ring is not only expandable, fits you in any of your fingers, but also gives you this illusion that it's moving. So when you move your hand in any direction, it starts to feel like it's creating an illusion of turning. So my reasoning for that was every single thing that we see in life, it all depends on the angle and perspective that I'm looking at. Another person from a different angle looking at the same exact thing will have a completely different view of it. For example, if I'm looking at this calculator from the backside, this is my view, and this is how I will look at it, perceive it, and define it. To someone else, it looks completely different with the keys in front. So that was the birth of this whole concept. When I'm looking at it from my angle, what I see is not what another person is seeing when they look at this ring. And this is how a complete circle of life is for me. It's a complete circle where you look at it from different angles.
That's your new,
That's my
design.
newest collection, and we just launched that. And super excited to bring this to Puerto Rico and share it with.
Fantastic. Ya han visto los diseños de Tariq, que son una maravilla. Tienen que venir a verlos al Lido. Thank you so much for your time. You have a fabulous line, and we are very, very pleased to have met you.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you so much.
hopefully, you know, all the people that are watching you now will be very, very pleased to meet you in person.
Absolutely.
Gracias
Absolutely.
mil a todos
Thank you so much.
y nos vemos. Bye.